Yes.
So
We are
putting my
live now.
good
Yeah, we are
morning.
live. Yeah, good morning. Yes, welcome, Shatavisha Mukherjee. We are honored to have you as the star of the month for our
Thank
Tanima.com initiative. So, this is the segment where we talk to young maestros, such as you are, and as well classical musicians who are also contributing towards the contemporary music scene of India, because we believe that performing arts industry needs to celebrate more, to celebrate artists like you, and because you are devoting your entire life towards nurturing and practicing this music. And it's my honor and pleasure to get to know you. Welcome to the show, and we will start right ahead with the questions.
thank you.
Before we
Thank you.
begin, yeah, yeah, before we begin, I would like, Shatavisha, for you to tell me, I mean, how do you feel today morning? Did you have your breakfast? And what do you think about this initiative? This is the second episode of our segment.
Oh,
Please
okay.
say a few words. Yeah.
So it's my pleasure completely to come on the show and talk to you because it's not a very common thing that I'll speak for myself. I don't speak on such platforms much. I don't speak much publicly, and I am a little shy. I told you I'm a little conscious that this is going live, but I'll try to, not, do anything totally wrong. But I'm very happy that I got to come here and speak to you and whatever, speak my mind about uh, my art and whatever I'm practicing. And it's been, so long since I've started and I've devoted the whole of my life to it. So it's nice to chat about it.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Yes, talking about speaking, this is why I want to make a joke here. So, Americans are so good at marketing themselves. They will sell a lemonade and they will just talk about it so much that lemonade selling becomes a phenomena globally. So, that is why we are starting this segment because, yes, of course, I understand that artists are generally very introverted, they are very sensitive, they do not usually talk too much, they are not open to sharing too much. But that's why I start this segment with a sense of mutual respect and doing this for the bigger purpose of nurturing the community at large. It's not just about you and me and this initiative, but rather when we talk about your struggles, your achievements and your journey so far, we inspire more youngsters and more people to gravitate towards the arts and also
My
celebrate
point.
it. This is,
Yes.
yeah. Yes, in fact, yeah. So since of course you are a performing artist, I have seen you at many stages. I have got a chance to work with you. So you have a lot of talents that we will talk about during the interview. But yes, talking is something I am very passionate about, and thank you so much for being on the show. My first question for today's interview is that so yesterday you had an online class with your
Yes.
current Guruji, Pandit Ulhas Kashalkar ji. That's
Yes.
wonderful. I mean, a guru of his stature, he lives in Pune, you live in Kolkata, but he has embraced technology and he definitely, I mean, encourages you. Please tell us about what did you learn during the session? Was it a one-on-one session or a group session? And after the session, what do you plan to do with that learning now? Like, are you like planning to compose something and share with him for his feedback, or what is it? Kindly enlighten us.
So, firstly, I want to say something that my guru, he has not been a very tech savvy person, as we may say, but we are so fortunate that during the pandemic, because we were unable to go to his place. Generally, before the pandemic started, I used to go to Pune, every month or in every 2 months for like 1 week or 2 weeks and stay there and learn from him. But when the pandemic started, it all got to a halt, and we were very depressed, all of us. So we were so lucky that he agreed to teach us online, and he was struggling with the features and all these online platforms, and he had no proper resources as well, as we may say. But he, purchased some, he, improved some, and he started teaching us online, and he has been teaching us online for 2 years now. And I am so lucky that, otherwise we wouldn't have been able to continue for at least 2 years now things are getting started, but still for, these 2 years it would have been a complete standstill. But I'm very lucky that he agreed to teach. So it's generally not a one-on-one class. In Guruji's house it's a one-on-one class, but it's again a group session as well, because you have to listen to the other person's class and learn from that as well. Even if you are not singing, you have to be completely attentive to the other classes as well. So here we are, it's 3 or 4 people are together. We are together in one group, and he calls on uh, video calling platforms, and he teaches us. But generally, while singing, we sing one on one. When I am singing, no one else is singing, and he listens to it, and he gives us feedback, and he whatever he wants to say, and he sings whenever it's necessary. So this is how the session goes. And yesterday we learned a new bandish in Rag Shankara, which is a nighttime rag.
Hmm.
So yeah, it was a new bandish. It was I had learned the rag before, but it was new bandish for me. And generally, what I do after his classes, one thing for sure, I need like half an hour to digest whatever he has taught us, because it's too much. But then, generally, in the same evening or the next morning, I generally
Hmm.
tend to repeat whatever he, taught, the bandesh or the chalan of the rag or the palta or whatever the new I had learned the previous class. I generally tend to repeat it so that it stays in my head. Generally, I don't call him, and ask for feedback. He gives the feedback in the next class. Generally, it's once a week. So I get the feedback in the next class.
Yeah, great. Why I ask this is, even as a professional artist, you are a performing artist, professional now. Education never ends, right? And this relationship with your Guruji, and just practicing and sharing feedback and coming together with your fellow students, that's
It's
fantastic.
very important, because otherwise it will,
Yeah.
come to a very stagnant manner. It needs to flow. It has to be like a river. It cannot be a lake. It cannot be stagnant.
Wow,
The
what a
of
beautiful.
knowledge, is very important.
Yes, beautiful. That's a beautiful explanation of the need for a continual education.
Very
Yeah.
much.
Now, yes. My next question is, yeah, continuing with this, your talim with Panditji. So it's been more than, I think, 20 years that you are
Yes.
learning with him. And we would like to know your relationship with him. I mean, as a legendary guru and as a devoted disciple or a student, how does your relationship evolve over the years? And also, if you could share something about how do you value his presence in your life?
There's nothing to be, said about the value of his presence in my life, because he is, a major father figure that I've had. Even my father sometimes, takes a step back, and my father only lets him take the front step and be there. So there's nothing to be shared. It's immense. I cannot talk about it. It's priceless. uh, Regarding my relationship with him, when I started with him, I was around 8 or 9 years old, and he knew me from before. He could see me because I used to learn in the same academy. So I actually went past his house whenever I went to my then guru's house, Kanan
Hmm.
Sahab's house. So he saw me as a toddler, as a 4 or 5 year old kid as well, and he used to smile at me and used to ask me, what are you learning, how's it going, all these things.
Hmm.
But later when I came to him,
Hmm.
I got to know him in a very, how do I say, newer light. So he was a strict guru. He was a very strict guru, but he was a very fun person to be with. He doesn't speak much. He's not a talker, but whenever he does, he'll make some joke, and he'll just make the uh, surroundings very light very easily. But there have been two aspects of it, one as a student and one as a you know person in his life. So as a student, he was a very strict guru. He used to scold me. He still does. I'm actually very used to it, and when he doesn't scold me, it feels a little different. That why is he not? He was a very strict guru, but as a and he has taught me not only music. He has taught me so many things. I was very young. I didn't know how to speak to people, how to show my respect, because as we call it sanskar, it actually the guru imbibes it in you. You learn from your guru and your senior guru bhais and guru bens. So he taught me a lot of things, how to speak to other artists, and how to respond when they are speaking to you, how to tune tanpura, how to carry yourself on stage, how to manage the other artists, everything. Whatever I'm singing right now, other than the obvious musical content, it is completely his credit, and he has taught me.
Wow, that's amazing. Why I say this? So basically, since you have been learning from him such a young age, these are the, I mean, more important, more than just the technical knowledge of the ragas and your education. I think, yeah, your etiquettes and your so in like more structured balance and language, I will say networking abilities, because that is an essential skill and quality of every professional, whichever industry. Wow, that's beautiful. And like you said, sometimes your father take a step back and your guru
Oh,
nurtures your soul.
he still does. When
That's
it comes to
wonderful.
my guru, my father knows that he will willingly take a step back.
Wow, fantastic. Yeah, that's amazing. Now, the next question is a bit longer, so I'll just read out. I hope our audience they don't mind. I'll read out from my written material. So I heard you sing bhajan, thumri, chaiti, and of course pure raga renditions. When I listen to you sing, it actually feels like that lovely movie scene where we see that the hero listens to a melodious tune coming from afar, and he goes to the window to find out and to listen more intently what is it being sung, and this the tune of probably a female singer. So your voice and tone makes me feel that serenity within. Also, to speak more analytically, your pure classical renditions have a different flavor, and your semi-classical songs sound appropriate as well. It definitely makes you a versatile vocalist. How do you do it? And do you consciously do breath control and voice modulation, or do you feel the essence of the songs? Or is it a mix of both?
Actually, it's kind of a mix of both, because both are important. I'll be very honest. I'll tell you that I have not technically learned anything other than pure classical music. That is the only thing I have learned from my guru, because my guru is not into thumris and all these semi-classical aspects. But I'm very prone to them. I love them, and I have been very lucky to be able to see many stalwarts, right from my childhood, in a very close vicinity. I have seen Appaji Vidushi Girija Devi ji. She was there in SRA, and I've seen her since I was very young, and she was very fond of me as well. So I've seen her, sing, perform, teach from since I was very young. So back then I was not very drawn into that sect of music, but as I grew up, and gradually I started getting very interested in it, and I started noticing how she does it. And I am not very good at it, I'll admit, but I try, and I also intend to learn further on this stream, so that I do it better. So this goes for Thumri and all these chaitis and bhajans. And for the other semi-classical or light classical, as you may say, like Ravindra Sangeet, I have learnt in school. I have also not learnt it in a very technical manner. Whatever my school used to be very cool with it. So they had a music teacher, and I used to learn from her whatever Ravindra Sangeet. And I'm very interested in literature, and I'm a huge Ravindranath fan. So I read him quite a lot, and that is why I was very interested in his poetry more than the music aspect. I'm more into the lyrics of the song and poetry of Ravindranath. So Ravindranath Sangeet I learned that way. And film music, I have been following since I was a child. So, you know, to answer your question, I do not intentionally or consciously do it all the time. However, I have heard it,
Yeah.
since when I was growing up, I used to try to copy it the same way. Like when I used to hear Lataji's music, I used
Hmm.
to try to sing like she has. So of
Hmm.
course I cannot do it because she's unique, but I used to at least try to imitate the mannerisms, and that is how I started singing. And now that I've grown up, I understand a few things about breath control and voice modulation and all these things. I try to imbibe them in my music in light classical forms. But of course the lyrics are very important, and the essence of the songs are very important, as I actually
Hmm.
tell my students as well. They don't
Yeah.
go into technicalities too much. Listen to the lyrics, listen to the original composition, and try to imbibe the essence, the true characteristics of the song, and that is how it will come into.
Yeah, fantastic. Because I think, yeah, it is your modesty that you say that you're not able to do as much. But trust me, as professionals, we all first we have our role models and we look up to them, and we tend to learn from their style, and then we have our own presentation and then unique qualities that shines through when we present our work, body of work. So yeah, fantastic. Like you said, and also I want to let you know that I heard your Robindra Shongit on YouTube, and I'm the kind of person I I have zero tolerance for. I don't have patience. I have too much to do, and I feel that time is running out. I don't listen to Robindra Shongit unless there is sarod in it, because I love sarod, and unless it sounds really amazing. So when I listened to your Rabindra Shongit and there was just a piano playing on the background, right? I was like, wow. I mean, usually we skip and forward. I do that at least. I don't know. I don't. Yeah, but I did not forward it. I
Maybe, yeah. So Robindra Sangeet is my, if you it's my second love, as I may say. If
okay.
I was not a classical singer, I would have been a Ravindra Sangeet singer, full fledgedly.
Wow.
Because Ravindranath
It's
is something. Ravindranath is a sentiment for me, and I love his writings and I love his music. And also, it comes a little natural to me. People say, I am not sure. My parents say that it comes a little natural to me. I think that is because I have read him and I love it. That is why. But that
Yeah.
is really close to it.
Yes, then I will take the side of your parents. You must sing more of Rabindra Songit. It sounds as if I get immersed in the emotion and in the lyrical poetry. So it sounds beautiful. So yeah, thank you so much. And now, of course, you are also teaching voice control and voice modulation to
Yes.
students.
Yes.
That's definitely a part. But yeah, you should continue and sing more of Rabindra Songit.
Thank
Okay,
you.
now I'll talk a little bit about the business part and your career part. So the question is, I know you have a lot of friends in Indian classical music industry and from Mumbai, Pune, North India, from abroad, both in vocals and instrumentals. And many of them are commercially very well off, while others are not so much. In your opinion, I want to know what is it that you see, in your opinion, that these commercially abundant young musicians do differently?
I think it is the approach towards the performance. The approach is very important, and also the flexibility of your mind. If you are rigid about, that I am a classical musician, I have to be very elite, and I'll be very snooty, and I will not go into public concerts, and I'll not play this or not sing that. Even I have a little limitations about my singing as of yet. I don't know, I try to evolve it as I move past. But like, I am very open to it. I have no problem collaborating with other artists of other genres as well.
Hmm.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
not saying that I'll be very good at it right away. I might have to be there for a while and learn their type of music as well, so that I can imbibe it and do a proper collaboration. But I'm
Hmm.
open to it. My approach is flexible. So generally, the friends I have in my fraternity, so the approach makes the difference. There are people who are brilliant classical musicians, but they are doing
Hmm.
so well commercially, and
Hmm.
when they are playing in a recording, they are a complete another being, and when they are on stage playing with a complete hardcore classical musician, they are
Hmm.
of another being. So it's commendable how they do it. I'm not that good, and I tend to learn from them, and also from the other stalwarts in the industry. But it's the approach that makes the difference.
Wow, fantastic. Yes, even I see that a lot of classical musicians, they are innovating in their style and their collaboration formats. I think, yeah, it's not that you are not good at that. I think it all happens in the right time. It's good. It's great to know that you are open to
I'm
inspiration.
open
I
to
mean,
it. And I am, one thing I'll say, I have an advantage. I might add that I'm very flexible, and I'm I I'm very open to learning new things. I have no,
wow,
tell my students as well, and I tell my juniors as well, that even if you're you're younger than me, even if I am senior to you, I have no problem sitting down and learning if there's something new I don't know. And I have no ego, so that I don't, you're junior, I won't learn from you. What do you know? All these things I do not practice, and that is my
that's
one
very,
of my advantages, I feel.
yeah, that's very, very sweet. Yeah, wonderful. And firstly, it's new information to me that you are the youngest scholar of ITC Sangeet Research Academy. Wow.
I
So, and also you have performed at the prestigious ITC Sangeet Sammelan from a very young age. That I know is one of the most coveted platforms for highly qualified classical musicians. So I want to know, and you have been a young maestro as well. So how did these experiences help you in your journey as a professional vocalist?
So, as they say, you might know already that, the more stage experiences we get, the
Hmm.
more learnings we get. Because
Hmm.
when we are learning from the guru
Hmm.
in his house, sitting down, the Guru Mukhi Vidya, as we say, Guru Shishya Parampara, that's a complete different side of the learning. But when you are on stage, you are all by yourself. There's no
Hmm.
guru to save you. If
Hmm.
there's a problem, if there's a something, not according to your will, how will you manage it? And also, the
Yeah.
audience, you have to interact with the audience, not by talking but by your singing. And the audience differs from place to place. Not all the cities have different set of audience. When I perform in Bombay or Pune, the audience is completely different, and the kind of response, I was in Delhi for the first time, uh, in 2015, I think I went there for 3 4 concerts. It was a concert tour, and the kind of response I got from the audience of Delhi, it was overwhelming. I had never gotten it from the audience of Kolkata. But again, Kolkata has its own, essence, and an own, uh, you know, uh, type of letting you know what they like
Hmm.
and how they like. So, interacting with these, various kinds of audiences, this is what the stage performances give you. These experiences matter a lot, and I'm very lucky that I have, gotten. I'll not say too much, but I've gotten a decent amount of stage experiences since I was quite young, and I have shared stage with legendary musicians. This will go down, with me. These have been one of the fondest memories in my life, that I have been on the same stage that Vilayat Khasab has been on, or my guru has
Wow.
been on. So these things cannot be, you cannot get it otherwise. So these will go down with me. So these experiences have been very vital, to my practice and for my personal memories as well. That I've shared
True.
stage with legendary artists.
Wow, wonderful. Yes, I think it definitely adds value to you as a professional artist and also as a teacher, as a performing
Yes.
artist, and also definitely it gives you the visibility, which is great. I mean, when you get chance at coveted platforms, so many people get to know that you are a certain artist of certain caliber,
Of course,
and
of
that gives you
course.
a
The
yeah.
visibility is very important.
Yes, right. And yes, I think since you mentioned Delhi, Mumbai, Pune, so I am the one. I've lived in almost all metro cities of India, and I have attended concerts, of course, live concerts. So I think in Kolkata, audience are they would like to just they are very good listeners. They like to
They are.
attend all concerts and they like to munch over it when they go back home. Delhi people are like me. They love to talk a
They
lot
are
and
very
they are very
out of the
passionate.
open. If they like you, I was barely 21, 22 years old, and that was the first time I was singing in Delhi, and they were so out in the open. They were like,
Yeah.
asking for autographs and everything, and
Yeah,
because photographs were not that common till then, the smartphones had just come. But
true.
I was so overwhelmed because I have not been treated that way. Because Kolkata or Bengal, they are like very, they'll come up to you after the concert is over, and then they'll tell you that they liked it or they didn't. They'll call you up even if they know you
Yes.
personally. But all this photograph, at least for a young artist, I hadn't seen. So it
Right.
was overwhelming for me.
Yeah, yeah. That's what I love about Delhi. In fact, in Delhi, I lived, I think, 4 5 years I have spent there. And people there, my friends would say, you are a Delhiite girl. I don't
You,
know. I mean, why are you a Bengali? You don't look like a Bengali. People would tell me, you are you from Assam? But yeah, that's the I mean, people, if they like you, they really shower you with so much affection. They will invite you. So yeah, about the audience, since you mentioned. And of course, Pune and Mumbai, it's very rich culturally, it's very rich classically. They have a very learned audience. So yeah, I think that's great for you. Yeah, yeah. Okay, now the next question is, so Kolkata is a hub of rich. Is that
yeah,
pudding?
it
Hi,
is food.
pudding.
Pudding is very interested to take part in the interview as well.
Yeah, bring him on camera.
No, please. She jump. Maybe after the interview is over.
Okay, cool. Okay. So Kolkata is a hub of rich cultural heritage of India. I have been fortunate enough to be there for a short stint of time, at the right place, when Padma Bhushan Pandit Buddhadev Das Gupta ji was alive. And I attended classes at his residence. Padma Awards, among other national awards, have had artists from West Bengal in huge numbers. And now, with the state government bestowing the state awards like the Bongo Bhushan, Bongo Vibhushan, how do you see these awards, and what is the impact of these awards in an artist's life, both personally and professionally?
Yeah. So I had muted the mic because she was shouting. So yeah. Um, See, this is completely my opinion. I am not speaking for anyone else. But
Absolutely.
uh, as we say that for artists, rewards matter more than awards. you know
Wow.
and it's true. Even if a lot of people, I don't want to name, a lot of people haven't got any recognition in their lifetimes, but they were legendary. I mean, very popular as well, very popular
Mhm.
artists, but they were not given awards, as we say. But those are their rewards. They were happy
Mhm.
with the love of the public, and they were happy with the recognition they got from their audience.
Yeah.
But for me, I'll tell you, awards are also very important because it really boosts yourself up, and
Hmm.
it's good for the society as well to know people who have been devoting the whole of their lives with such
Hmm.
sincerity and such finesse and such perfection towards one
Hmm.
art,
Yeah.
practicing one a million times and working so hard behind this practice. So it is very important for the artists to get recognized from the government or organizations or such institutions as well. Awards are as required as rewards, I may say, because it really boosts yourself up and it
True.
encourages you to do more and more. It's not just about the recognition. The recognition inspires you to do more. Sometimes I've seen many people who got really sad about not getting recognized. Even if they were doing quite well in the fraternity, they were playing and performing and on stage, but they were
Hmm.
not recognized. And I have seen people, being hurt about it. And why not? If they are so good, they should be recognized by the institutions as well.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's a great thing to have some awards, but the rewards, definitely the love of your audience
For
and your
me,
students.
rewards are of course more important, but I don't mind getting awards as well. So yeah.
Yeah, that's a beautiful way to put it. Absolutely great. I think that's why we do this interview. These can only come from real artists like you. I can never come up with these sentences. Okay, no, that's true. That you're speaking from your heart, and you are absolutely
Yes.
honest about, yeah, how do you see. Okay, now India is now witnessing the much needed change in music and sounds thanks to classically oriented musicians like Shankar Mahadevan and others creating the famous Bandish Bandits, like many
Yes.
others, hugely successful, yeah, Amazon Prime series. Uh, so now, are you collaborating with musicians outside Kolkata to participate in such projects? And secondly, please name a few uh, artists and music directors who are creating such music for OTT channel projects and who you would love to work with if possible.
So, to answer the first part of your question, right now I've been talking to a few people for collaborating projects like fusion projects and light classical projects. The talks are on to a few people. When it formalizes, I will surely let you know. And secondly, of course, as I said, I am a huge movie buff. I'm a
Yeah.
huge movie buff, and I love film songs as well. And it's not just old Hindi film songs or old Bangla film songs. I love, you know, you know, film songs. Period. So I have huge respect for the music directors of contemporary times as well, and
Hmm.
few directors I would love and love to work with. If you talk about Bollywood or Hindi, industry, of course the legend is there, Mr. Rahman. So goes without saying. Um, but I really like, of course, Shankar Mahadevan. I really like his works. I really like his thoughts. Yesterday only, I was humming one of his songs, which is completely based in Rag Bhairavi, but it's put in Western beats, "Sapno Se Bhare Naina." So it's a
Yeah.
immensely popular song, but I don't know if many people know that it's completely Rag Bhairavi. It's a
Wow.
rag,
I had no
the
idea.
composition.
Hmm.
I was humming, and he's so versatile, Mr. Madhavan, that he imbibed this thought. I really like his works. I like Amit Trivedi's work a lot. I kind of like it. I like Salim Suleiman's works a lot. So these are the few people I can remember as of now. In Bengal, I don't know if many people know that in Bengal, in an OTT series, there was a similar kind of a show that was made, and I think it's coming. The next seasons are gonna come as well. It's called Tanshiner Tanpura. It's based in
Yes.
classical music, and
Yeah, I've heard
George
of. I saw
Sharkar, the
a footage.
composer, has made the songs. Yes, so he was very good as well, and they did it. I really liked it. They did it in a newer way. They did not call it a bandish, and they did not call it I don't know, they did not give it any names. Srijato, the brilliant poet, he wrote down lines, and they
Yeah.
basically formed songs from ragas. They were
Okay.
complete new songs. but they were based on ragas, and it was very refreshing, and I really liked it. I really liked the
Okay, so
project.
music director is Srijato
No,
Bandupati.
the lyricist is Srijato. The
Hmm.
music director was Joy Shorkar.
Okay, yes, I'm a huge fan of Joy Shankar
I'm a
ever
huge fan as
since
well.
that
I love
Shubhamita
it.
song came along. Dekhe Choki Tare,
देखे जो कि
Brishti Pai Pai. Yes,
दृष्टि
that was
पर
the time I discovered Joy Shankar, and coincidentally, I was in Kolkata at that time. In fact, I used to
oh
buy those CDs. Yes, Joy Shankar is very, I mean, he's very innovative young musician. Yeah, he
I'll just
brings
take one
good
moment.
melody.
I'll just take one moment of your time. I'll just go off camera for like one
Yeah,
second.
sure, sure. Yes. We have two more questions for Shatavisha in this session. So let's hold on to that.
Yeah, I'm back.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah, no
hazards of
problem.
living.
Yeah. Cool, cool. Okay.
So yeah,
Now the next question is a bit longer again. So here it is. I as we were discussing, you started your musical journey very early in life, and your rendition of Rag Hamir at the age of 10. It
yeah,
demonstrates great power in your voice and a fantastic command on sur. Some these are the two things that I cannot not notice in classical musicians, vocalists. You are singing with such confidence. It's such a delight to know that your talim as a child started with Pandit A. Kanan, a
yeah,
legendary vocalist that I believe, yeah, every student of music must know about. And
yes,
Kanan Sahib was known to have a heart of gold and a liberal guru who encouraged individual potential of his disciples to shine through. He earned his fame both by admirers of classical music and also from his playback singing of classical music from that Lagi Lagan Sakhi set
yes,
in Rag Hamsadwani. Yes, in a
yes,
Bengali movie by Ritik Ghatok, Meghe Dhaka Tara. So yeah, in fact, I listened to the song. This is also a lot like that Carnatic bhajan, Vatapi Ganapatim Bhaje. Vatapi Ganapatim Bhaje. Yeah. Now,
yes.
please share some of your memories and unique details from your experiences with Kanan Sahib, and how frequent were your classes, and how would he talk to you to encourage you, because you were a very young child and he
I
would give
was,
chocolates, I believe. Yeah,
yeah,
please
I
share
was
those fond
bribed.
memories.
I was bribed by him to learn.
Yeah.
Those are,
Okay.
very fond memories, maybe the fondest of my life, because Kanan Dada
Hmm.
has been. I was a 4 year old kid. I started when I was 3.5 year
Oh.
old under him, and he was not sure if he could manage teaching me because I was that young. But he had one advantage. I used to talk a lot, but I did not run around a lot. If I sit, I'll continue
Hmm.
sitting at one place. That was his advantage. So, and I also
Hmm.
enjoyed music since then also. So
Hmm.
I don't know how he managed to teach me, because when I teach, I my youngest student is 5 years old, and
Hmm.
he's something to, he's a force to reckon with if you ever meet him. So I
True.
don't know how my guru managed to teach me at that age, and honestly, I have very little memory of how he taught exactly, but I have
Yeah.
memories of being with him,
Hmm.
spending time with him, talking with him. And he was already in his late 70s, almost in his 80s when I got to know him, but he was like a child with me only. He was also,
True.
he'd speak like that, and he'll, make fun of me, and he'll call me an idiot and all these things. And he had a very unique way of speaking because he was a Tamilian, and he
Yeah.
later came to Bengal and he learned Bengali, and he spoke Bengali in his own Tamilian way only. So he used to call me idiot all the time, and but he was so fond of me, and used to, we used to spend so much time other than, learning music. Wherever he went for concerts, wherever he went to attend concerts or somewhere. I remember
Hmm.
he went to attend this Janmashtami puja. I was barely 5 years old. He took me along with him, and there was
Wow.
in someone's house. It was not a concert or something. It was it was a musical evening slash puja. It
Hmm.
was a very homely baitak, and he took me along with him, and he
Hmm.
basically made me sing over there. As I remember, I think I sang one or two bhajans over there. I didn't know much back then. Whatever I and when I was young, when you were young, you have no, you know, like now I told you I was very conscious that this this thing is going live. Back then I had no, I didn't
No
care much.
reservations. Yeah, like
Sang.
kids. Hmm.
So I
Yeah.
remember, so he used to take us along wherever he went. He was a person who loved his students, being with them,
Yeah.
and and he loved them to bits. And whenever we didn't come up, come over to his place, he used to call. And back then there was landlines, and he used to call and he used to ask my father, why is she not here? Why is she not coming? So generally, I used to go once a week for classes, but there were times when we went like that only to meet him and to talk to him, and he had so many stories about other musicians and their lives and how their lives are inspiring. And he was very good friends with Bimsenji, so he had
Okay.
too many stories about Bimsenji. So he was very good friends with him. So that is another thing, that was another point of interest for me, that after my class I get to
Hmm.
hear a lot of stories from him, funny
Yeah.
stories.
True, true. In fact, to be very honest, I also do that. I mean, of course, it takes time to sense of what a student's temperament. The way gradually, after like 3 4 months of time of interacting, I get to know the students, and then I tell stories, and then the students also tell their stories. You won't
Yeah,
believe the kind of
I'm a story person only. There are students, who come up to me to learn for the first half an hour and then speak the rest of the time.
yeah. That's why I love to teach. So it's really not much about any professional interest. I love to teach because I get to interact with such innocent young souls, and I feel so much at home to interact with them, get to know. It's like I never force anybody to share something, but the love that they have and the trust they have in me, they tell their secrets and something that they won't tell to your parents, something like that, those stories.
Yes,
So
I
yeah.
I have experienced, and I think because I am young, we are rather, because we are young, they can relate to us more, often than they can, and also
True.
because I tell my students, I have a huge variety of age groups in my student base. So
Hmm.
there are students who are like very young, as I said, my youngest is a 5-year-old, and
Yeah.
but I have students who are teenagers, I have students who are college goers, I have students who are
Hmm.
my age and who are more
Yeah.
than me. So
Yes.
those who are college goers and teenagers, they have their own set of stories and they need to share, and they need
Right.
to,
True.
this happened and that happened, and you don't tell mother about it, don't tell my parents about this, no, and all these things.
True.
And the people who are my age, they have another set of stories. You know what, this happened, that happened. Do you also go through this, and do you also go through that? So
Hmm.
I love this.
True.
I keep a certain amount of time to talk after the
Hmm.
class. It's not that 1 hour is your time, 1 hour is over, then you're out. It's I
Yeah,
I
true.
I keep
So,
this little bit of time intact
uh,
just to talk to them and ask them how their week went and how their lives going. All these things.
yeah, so Karan Sahib, he started giving you chocolates in every class. So for how many
Yeah.
years did that continue? You getting
Not that
chocolates?
I really remember it very vividly, but I think it continued
Hmm.
for a good 3.5 years till I was seven,
Wow.
7.5.
Yeah, that's so sweet of you. One last question I'll ask. So during this time when he was like when he was still in his 60s, do you know that he was also working with the Indian Railways? Was that true?
Yes, initially he was. Actually, he was a sportsman. He used to play cricket, and that is how he got into the job.
Wow.
So,
Okay.
yeah, he was a cricketer. He was a sports person, and that is how he got into the job. And he was,
Hmm.
working there. And
Hmm.
I vaguely remember the story he had told me once, that he went for a match only, I think, to
Hmm.
Bombay.
Hmm.
And there they were staying in a hotel, and they had one day to,
Hmm.
move around and do the sightseeing and all things in
Hmm.
Bombay. So among the sites, there was Akashvani
Hmm.
Bhavan, the radio,
Okay.
All India Radio Bhavan.
Yes.
So they had taken the whole team there, and they
Hmm.
were going through all these things, and he was very prone to music, he was interested.
Hmm.
And someone told him that, why don't you record a little of your voice and see how you sound. And he
Hmm.
did. I think this is how the story went. I am not sure because I was very young, but somehow he just picked up the interest, and later he quit his job and he came to Kolkata and he started learning, and then he, you know, devoted his
Wow.
whole.
Live to music. Yes. So when we were children, I used to hear a lot about Malabika Kanan. My mother
Yes,
used to listen to their radio. Their songs used to come on radio. My parents were, yes, they were interested in. So I used to hear a lot about this name. So that time I had no idea who was Malabika Kanan. She was the wife of A. Kanan. So yeah, these are the gurus and legends that built the cultural hub of Kolkata, I believe, in those days, right?
yes, very importantly. And he
Hmm.
formed, Kanandada, I vividly remember, he formed the, organizations who organized music, and he brought in musicians from the other parts of the country to Kolkata so that
Okay.
the Kolkata audience can listen to them, and he
Okay.
formed membership organizations where, concerts were held. He did a lot for the fellow musicians, that is how
Wow.
he's fondly remember. And I'll actually tell you a story over here.
Hmm.
Hmm. So I met Pandit Venkatesh Kumar a few years ago,
Hmm.
just like that. So he knew me, but that day we got to talking, and he asked me about. He knew that I was learning from Ulasji. He had no
Hmm.
idea that I also learned from Kanadada before that. So that day we got to
Okay.
talk. He came to know about it, and as soon as I had mentioned Kanadada's name, his whole face, lit up, and he said, "Oh
Hmm.
my God, you learned from him! Oh my God, I have so great reverence for him." And he told me that when he had only started singing
Hmm.
in his early days. So
Hmm.
there was this, I think, national program that had aired on radio. Back then, it was
Hmm.
just radio. Right? So
Hmm.
there was this some national program that had aired on radio, which Kannan Dada had heard in Kolkata.
Okay.
He liked it so much. Kannan Dada liked it so much that
Hmm.
he called up the radio station and got to know where the original recording was made, which station. It was in Dharwad. So he had called up the radio station in Dhar. He had no knowledge of the singer, and he only
Hmm.
knew that he had no contact numbers or any addresses or anything. He just called up Dharwad radio station,
Hmm.
and he told them that please contact this and this person and tell him that I really, really liked his performance. I am this and so from Kolkata. I'm from Sangeet Research Academy. Please let him know that I really liked his performance and I really think he'll go a long, long way. And this is such a small yet very, very significant incident in Venkatesh's life because so he
Turning
remembers it
point.
so
Absolutely.
vividly.
Yeah.
Not I don't know if it was a turning point or not, but it was very encouraging for him, for a
Absolutely.
person who came from all the way down south. Dharwad is in Karnataka, and it was a
Hmm.
small place, and he was doing music from there. And someone from Kolkata who has no knowledge who
Yes.
he was had contacted to let him know that he's doing very well. So he remembers it so fondly after so many years, and he said that I've never met him in person. He could
Okay.
never see him in person. He just once, this thing happened, and he was so happy to know that I had, learned from him. So this is the
Yeah.
impact of Kanaka. I think he had made on other people's lives. You know.
Wow, wonderful. Thank you for sharing this experience. In fact, now I'll tell you very quickly, since we are having this conversation. I think to me, I look up to Karan Sahib and people like Pandit Vijay Kuchlu as my mentors because these
Yes.
are the people who have already done so much. And I'm trying to do probably 0.1% of that, connecting
Oh, you'd be
artists,
very grateful.
yeah, connecting artists from all parts of India, people who still don't know each other, classical musicians, good musicians, because of course the state of things that are right now here, so YouTube is a sea of this thing. Unless we listen to, and of course as professional artists, you don't have time to listen to music, to discover music directors and other musicians. So I think,
Yes.
yeah, in fact, I recently bought that book, A Sculptor of Talent, penned by Srimati Meena Banerjee on
Oh,
Pandit Vijay Kuflu. Yes, I aim to read it very soon.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, Pandit A. Kanan, seriously, such a heart of gold. And I have so much to learn from them. So thank you for sharing these information. Okay, last question for now is, you continue to work hard with the same dedication and love for your students from all over the world. Thanks to technology, since your students from US, Dubai, Singapore, they're able to access a great teacher like you. And so tell us the difference in what you teach and how you conduct your sessions, or is there a difference between online and offline sessions?
So yeah, of course, there's a difference between online and offline sessions, but the pandemic has taught us that nothing is, stoppable, if I can say,
True.
especially art and culture, because when we were locked in, the only thing that got us going was art. So a lot of
Yes.
people started
Music.
learning new,
Hmm.
things,
True.
and a lot of people started learning music and all these things. So
Hmm.
the pandemic has taught us the immense importance of online classes. There were there
Hmm.
were online classes before that as well, but I think the respect the online platforms and online classes have got is it's due to pandemic.
Yeah.
um, so I love my students. All my students are very very close to my heart. I think they also know it, that I really love them. I love speaking to them, I love teaching them, and I love spending time with them. And I always tell them that even if you're not singing, you are always welcome to come over for a tea or something. We'll just sit down and talk
Hmm.
to each other. Whenever you feel low, you please do give me a call, because
Hmm.
I want to be in their lives like that.
Hmm.
And while I teach, of course, I am not a very strict teacher. I don't scold them that much, but they know that when I'm saying things, they need to follow things.
Yeah.
It's not. I'm like a elder sister slash friend slash confidant when I'm not teaching, and when I'm teaching, it's a little different. That's one. And the second thing is offline and online. Of course, I have students from abroad as well, who there are no options other than online
Hmm. True.
classes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but like there's this girl who's learning from me, and she was in Dubai. She stays in
Hmm.
Dubai, and she had come for a month or so to Kolkata, just like
Cool.
that. And I asked her
Hmm.
to come for face-to-face classes, and I really, um, I think she liked it all the more. And I also had such a great time. So even if I'm teaching online, I'm always telling my students that
Hmm.
whenever there's a chance, if you get a chance,
Hmm.
come over to Kolkata. I am here to, teach you as many times you come to my place.
True.
And online classes, of course, I can teach them a lot of things, but
Hmm.
offline classes is how I get to know the person a little better, so that I can teach them a little better. Because this, I have no set syllabus or set structure to teach, because this is the most important thing about me. I feel I have not
Hmm.
set structure. I get to know the
Hmm.
person, I get to know what they are aiming to learn, what their requirements are, what their voices are like, and there I custom make my uh, lessons, and I don't even plan on it.
Hmm.
They'll just call, and I'll just ask them to sing whatever I taught in the previous class, and there I decide if it's something new to be done and all this. So when you're sitting in front of me, it's a little easier to do. That's it. But in online platforms, of course, they are learning and they're doing quite well, I must say. I'm
Hmm.
very happy and proud of them. So
Yes, and at this point, I would like to mention this is the difference between conventional English math education and music education. Like you said,
exactly.
there is no
I
set
always say
structure.
you cannot confine it.
True,
This is
true.
performing arts. This is creative arts. You cannot define it. In a absolute way. You cannot confine it in a structure. you know
Yes,
you might like continental food, I might like Chinese food, so we have to go to a multi cuisine restaurant.
true. That's a good analogy. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's also is the sign of a great teacher in performing arts. And I want to talk about this a little bit. In fact, because I
yeah,
also teach, and I tell this to new parents when they come for teaching. So I have like 4 5 students in the same society, and
Okay.
you bring each one of their notebooks, it'll be totally different. There is no
Of course.
similarity because every
No.
student comes with unique talent, unique skill set, and so I train them accordingly. And like you said, so it depends, because this is performing arts, it's creative field. It totally depends on the child's potential and talent and inclination. Yeah, wonderful. And online offline, yes, like there is no difference as such, but when the online students also get to meet with you in offline mode, right? That's wonderful.
Yes. I always welcome them. Even if they are learning
Yes,
online,
I think that.
there are
Hmm.
people who are in different cities in the country, within the country. They are a
Hmm.
little easy to, come and go. So I always
Visit
ask
you.
them, and they do it. I have this
Yeah.
boy from Singapore. I have people coming over from Delhi, Banaras. They sometimes come over for a week or so
Hmm.
just to have some offline classes, and then they go back and continue the online classes as well.
Yeah, fantastic. That's amazing. Yeah, that it feels good for the students also. And like I am also like, we are onboarding students and teachers. This is something the students ask, that is there a chance that I will ever meet with the teachers? So I said yes, absolutely. I mean, you start your classes, and whenever you are in the same city as the teacher, you are most welcome, and we facilitated that. Okay, last question for this. It is related to this. So tell us, like, maybe 2 3 incidents that you will cherish for your entire lifetime. Maybe some comments that you received from your students, and any impact that you have had that the students have told you. Yeah.
So yeah, there are quite a few. Some had really, I have really dealt with students who had not very fond memories learning before they came to me, and they
Hmm.
had problems with the ways of teaching, and they had problems with the you know ways of behavior towards the student as well. So
Yes. Yeah. Please tell
this
us, what is the unique thing that they saw about you? Yeah.
so they kind of, I'm just you know telling what they told me. So
Yes,
they
that's
kind
what I'm.
they kind of like the way I you know speak to them, and understand their set of problems or their point of views, and that I do not impose things on them. I will of course suggest them to do things, but I will never impose my own thought on them. That is what they like, they tell me. And whenever they ask me questions, I'm always available. I always tell them that whenever you have a query, make sure you ask. And I might not be available at that right moment, but I will
Hmm.
be back. Just put me a message or send me a voice
Yeah.
note. So this is one thing they say, that they feel is very unique about me. And
Hmm.
another thing I've seen is there are people who were very shy before coming up, and they were very shy of performing. They were very shy of even letting you know what they can sing and what they cannot. So
Hmm.
what I believe is, all you need, everyone has some creativity in their head, or what, some has more, some has less, but everyone has some creativity. So what, all you need is a little push, all you need is a little encouragement. So however I teach them, I always give them references. I always teach them the first few things that you need to learn, but after that I always push them to make their own creativity. I ask them to make tans with their all by themselves. I
Hmm.
always say that you make it, and you make it, listen to me, because I'll tell you if you're doing it properly or not, because that's very
Hmm.
important as well. But you
Hmm.
should be the one creating it. You should be the one creating the alaps or the tans or whatever. So this
Hmm.
is another thing I've been told that they like about it. I am not always holding their hands, making them cross the road. I'm just giving them
Hmm.
support, and then I'm just pushing them so that they can move ahead on their own. And of course I'm there if they fall down, and I'll pick them up. But I always let them do their own business.
Perfect. Why I ask this question is, I'll tell you the context. The context is, there is a lot of ambiguity among people these days who want their students to learn, and so there are a lot of confusion about which teacher to go to. So I want to
Mhm.
share this with my audience that listen to these interviews. So Shatavisha Mukherjee is a very accomplished artist, and she's also a great teacher. And you heard right now the students that that have interacted with her. So these are the qualities of great teacher, who is not actually imposing everything, but rather is very sensitive, very empathic towards the student and their pace of learning, their specific inclinations. So yeah, we will create more structured content on this, how to choose the right teacher for vocal classical and other things. Thank you so much,
I
Shatavisha,
am
for spending.
available whenever my students need me, and whenever people who are inclined to music, they're interested. I'm game. I'm available. That's it.
Yeah, true, exactly. For sincere students, even we are very dedicated to get the best of teachers for all sincere students. So yes, thank you, Shatavisha, for spending one full hour, and I apologize for making you talk so much. It's
Oh
not
my
good
god.
for.
No, it was nice. I think I did not do that bad. I was very conscious. I told you, right? When you mentioned this is going live, I was like, oh god, I need to speak.
You are a natural speaker. You speak so well, and I see your Facebook posts. You write very witty comments. So you are my
That
favorite
I'm
speaker.
good at. I'm very good at that. Making witty comments.
We'll have more such sessions. In fact, we'll bring on other panelists, and we'll
Yes,
have a
yes.
group
I would love
discussion.
that. I would love that. Pakka,
Okay,
pakka.
you have a great day ahead, Shatavisha. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much once
Thank you.
again.
Same to you. Bye. 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 Namaskar.
Bye.